So how is it actually like to study at one of the top 100 universities in the world that is a part of the prestigious Russell Group universities in the UK? How you should build your profile to study in one? Are there any scholarships available? Are there any part-time jobs available? How the university will support you in your career? Well, to answer these questions, today we have Savi Aggarwal, the country advisor for Durham University UK with us. Just to give you an idea, the university is ranked 82nd globally by QS. MBA is 37th worldwide by The Economist, also 6th for value for money by Financial Times. Master of Marketing 30th, Master of Business Analytics 47th, Master of Management 54th, Master of Finance 73rd, 41st for Arts and Humanities, 49th for Law. Well, I think I should stop here and welcome Savi to answer all your questions. Also, before we start, which other universities will you like to have on our channel for a video like this? Pause the video now, comment below and let me know. Thank you so much, Savi, for joining us. It's a pleasure having you for for this session. I believe this session was very long due, and a lot of students have been asking about Durham University. Thank you for doing this again. I'll briefly, can you please introduce yourself to the audience, please?
Of course. Firstly, thank you so much, Saket, for having me here. It's a pleasure being here as well. My name is Savi Aggarwal, and I'm the country advisor for Durham University. I manage the marketing and recruitment for Durham University in India and the subcontinent.
So I was just telling students that Durham is like one of the top ranked universities in globally, as in like it ranks 82nd in the QS, and when we talk about business school, it's like Triple Crown accredited, and then we have the Masters of Marketing, which is like I think world 41st.
Top 20 actually.
Top 20, okay. And the MBA is 34 as well, right?
It is, yes. Number 6 for value for money.
So I think these are the reasons, enough to choose Durham. But can you tell me some more reasons why one should choose to study at Durham?
Of course, most definitely. So alongside being in the top 100 universities, we're also the third oldest university in England and constantly within the top 5 in the UK. We're also a member of the prestigious Russell Group of universities. Right. Also, Durham University is situated in Durham City, which is a World Heritage City. As a city, it has a population of approximately 42,000 people, of which 20,000 are students. So it's predominantly a student city. It's a very unique experience that students would not get anywhere else. We're also a collegiate university. So that means we have 17 colleges on campus only for the purpose of student accommodation and community building. And the actual studies happen in the faculty building. So all in all, as a university, we have a graduate satisfaction rate of 90%. So students are extremely happy when they come into Durham, yes. And if there are any Harry Potter movie fans or the Avengers Endgame fans, I'm sure they would recognize the Durham University Castle and Cathedral, which are also UNESCO World Heritage sites. A lot of scenes of these movies have actually been shot here. So it's a very
I didn't know that. That's pretty interesting to know. Like, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so the first two movies, a lot of scenes were actually shot at the University Castle and Cathedral. And, the black robe formal dinners that we see in the movies have actually been inspired from Durham University. And a few of our colleges still actually follow that formal protocol.
Right, that's crazy. Actually, I think people with Harry Potter, who are really into Harry Potter, I think they really enjoy studying at Durham for sure.
Yes.
Cool. Moving on to the next question. So, quickly talking about the entry requirements. So, obviously, we know Durham is a very very prestigious university. One of the the most I would say prestigious universities in the UK and globally. So, obviously, there comes a lot of queries on what are the entry requirements for UG and PG applications. Like what all do you look for in a student generally from India?
Of course. Right. So if I talk about the undergrad entry requirements, we accept the central government boards and the state boards. We also accept A-levels and IB students as well. On an average, we're looking at somewhere between 83 to 90%, depending on which course the student is applying for. We also have a few prerequisite subjects also that are required for entry into certain programs. So for example, say if you're looking for a business program, we would have a prerequisite of mathematics. And if you're looking for the undergrad law program, then LNAT is mandatory.
Right.
So these are some of the prerequisites. And apart from that, for undergrad students, we actually have an English language waiver in place. So if they score above 80% in their year 12th English, then we automatically waive off their English language requirements.
That's only for the CBSE and ICSE students, is it?
And no, it's for all students. As long as they're meeting an equivalent to 80% in their IELTS English, we'll happily waive off the English language requirements, even if they're coming from state board, yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that. That's great, actually, because I do take a lot of UK sessions, and I didn't know that Durham is actually giving waivers for state board students as well. So is it applicable to every state board in India, or like a few?
Right. So it's applicable to a few because we're not accepting all state boards. So some of the top exceptions being, Gujarat, Haryana, Punjab, as some of the state boards that we of course do not accept. But apart from that, most of the state boards we're accepting. And from these state boards also, we have the 80% English language requirement. If the student meets that, we'll be happy to give them a waiver.
Right. And for PG people, what are the general entry requirements?
Right. So for postgrad students, we're actually looking at a first division in their bachelor's degree. It really depends on which university they are coming in from. So the Indian government basically has this NUSER guide, which is basically a compiled list of all universities in India, and basis on their risk accessibility factors, their graduate employment factors. A lot of key metrics are there, basis which universities have been defined into section 1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
So normally from section 1, we're looking at 60%, section 2, 65%, and section 3, 70%. And in terms of IELTS, we're looking at an overall score of between 6.5 to 7 overall, depending on which course the student is applying for. There are no postgrad English proficiency language waivers. The reason behind that being, as a university, with the 26th most international university in the world. So we have staff and students coming from 150 different countries. So in order to ensure that everybody has the same level of communication skills, we have the English language test mandatory.
Okay, and if someone has, let's say a bachelor's degree from an English-speaking country, will that work?
Right. So ideally, it should be within the last 2 to 3 years of them applying for the master's degree when the classes start. So if they have done bachelor's degree from an English-speaking country in the last 2-3 years, then of course we can then in that case give them a waiver.
Right. Cool. So my next question is what kind of facilities, because I think this is one question which comes to me a lot in terms of, students are worried about, how the career is going to shape after the graduate. So what kind of support the university offers in terms of, career or employment or anything like that?
Right. So as a university, we are ranked 54th globally when it comes to graduate employer reputation. Right. So we are one of the most preferred, universities when companies are looking to hire, employees from. But with that said, our university has a, career cell in place, and our business school also has an additional career cell. So both these career cells help students in terms of how to apply for jobs, prepare CVs, approach employers. Right. And then every year, our international students who complete their studies at the university, they successfully get into employment, not just within the UK, but also overseas. Right. And, we're able to give them access to, one-to-one appointments, vacancy information. There are presentation workshops that are delivered. We also have career fairs and enterprise events, and there are a lot of online resources that are available for students to make good use of. Right. And then, we also provide them tailored information, and we provide them platforms such as the Student Circus, which basically lists UK, vacancies that have visa sponsorship for, from employers.
Great.
So these are some of the kind of support that, we are providing to students. And what we normally just request students to do is that, we introduce them to the career cell from day one during their orientation itself. So it's most beneficial if they start applying for opportunities from day one. Because, that's how it really helps them. Whatever part-time jobs or internships that they might do might actually result into a full-time opportunity. So it's always ideal to, start from the very beginning rather than just wait for the last semester.
Right. But I think that's a great initiative wherein, you're kind of giving the access to students in terms of, jobs which, employers, who are ready to kind of sponsor international students. Because I think this is one of the major pain points for a lot of people who want to study in the UK, whether the employers are going to sponsor them or not. But again, if the university is going to help them in that, I think it's a very, very good initiative to kind of help such students. Great. So, next question very quickly. So I think Durham only offers September intake, being a Russell Group University. So what kind of timeline you will suggest to students? How soon they should start applying?
All right. So we do have one intake, like you mentioned, which is a September intake. Ideally, we open our applications a year in advance. So if you're looking at, say, for example, September 2023, Our postgrad applications would open on the 1st of October 2022. And for undergrad, of course, because you follow the UCAS protocol, so it would be 15th of October 2022.
Right.
With respect to timelines, because we're extremely popular and we get a lot of applications just from India itself as well, we recommend applying as soon as possible because we consider applications on first come first serve basis, and also we have rolling applications.
Right.
So the sooner a student applies, the better their chances are. So normally I would recommend for students to apply by December of 2022 or by Jan 2022 at max.
Right.
2023 at max. In order to get a timely response from the university, because the later they put in an application, the timelines would just increase.
Right, and I believe some programs which are like pretty popular, like marketing and finance, I think they close pretty early. Like Durham, I remember, because even when I was, I studied in the UK as well, so even I applied to Durham. I was thinking of applying to Durham, but I moved to New Zealand. So yeah, like most of the programs were closed in December. I still remember. Is it like still happens like that?
Okay. So no, now they do not just close in December. They might be open till Feb or March also. But yes, like I said, the timelines are very, very long the later you apply. And in most cases, what happens is students who applied by December or Jan would be the ones who got their offers and have already accepted their offers as well. And students who applied later on may not get a timely offer as well. So in that case, ultimately it's all about the timeline. The sooner you apply, the better the chances are, basically.
Next question, I think another major pain point for most international students is the part-time jobs. So I think UK is a pretty expensive country to live. And I believe Durham as a city is like quite cheaper than London for sure. But again, when you factor in the conversion rates and everything, so a lot of people would want to actually work part-time. So what kind of opportunities the city has in general for international students?
Right. Saket, so basically, of course, there are quite a few opportunities that are available both on campus and within the local area. There are a number of local shops, there are restaurants that are often seeking, student workers. And there are also, these cafes and libraries, departments that are offering part-time opportunities within the university also.
Right.
So the careers department that we have at the university, again, offers one-to-one advice to students who are looking at part-time opportunities. We, put across information regarding relevant positions. There are additional jobs websites that are available. We have tie-up with local recruitment agencies also. And we offer support with respect to CVs and cover letters. So we understand can be quite competitive. So we also assist students in how to prepare for these jobs, how to prepare CVs, how to approach employers. Right. And I think one biggest advantage that we have being in Durham is that our close proximity to Newcastle City, which is just 15 minutes away, from the city center by train. So students are not just limited to looking out for opportunities within Durham. They also can factor in opportunities within Newcastle City also. So, there are two levels at which they can look out for opportunities. So that gives them much more, a bigger scale.
Right. Get it. So I think a lot of students would travel to Newcastle and kind of come back after working. Makes sense, actually.
Yeah. So a lot of students actually choose to also stay in Newcastle and keep traveling to Durham for their classes. So it's vice versa. I mean, students are quite, because the distance is so, less, the travel time is so less, it's just more convenient for students to see, what's working out better for them. And they can take advantage of both the cities, basically.
Right. Get it. Cool. So moving on to the last question, which is, I think, the most important question for the audience, and that's the scholarships. So, do you offer scholarships at Durham for Indian students?
Right. We actually do offer scholarships. So very recently, we've introduced an international scholarship, which is open to South Asia, as a continent, including India as well. So the best part about Durham scholarships are that all our scholarships are automatic scholarships. Once students put in an application and they get an offer from us, we automatically evaluate them for all the available scholarships. There is no separate application procedure that's required at the student's end. So this international scholarship is an automatic scholarship, but it's also a guaranteed scholarship. So it's a £5,000 per year scholarship towards the tuition fee for each year of the program. And it's a guaranteed automatic scholarship for any student who gets an offer from us, accepts the offer to the university for all programs, excluding all business school programs and undergrad law program. So students looking for the arts and humanities faculties, postgrad law programs, looking at engineering, computer science, it's applicable. So we're basically talking £15,000 for undergrad students because it's a 3-year program. And because master's programs are 1-year programs, so that's £5,000.
Right. So bachelor students, they get £5,000 off, like for every year.
Every year, that's correct.
It would be a 15,000
yes.
pounds. So obviously, talking about the Indian currency, it comes around 15 lakh rupees. So that's a great opportunity, right? Great.
So, apart from that, there are a few, PG business school scholarships also that we have to offer. And these are, again, all automatic scholarships, but these are all meritorious scholarship. So depending on the cohort and the application pool we have for the intake, the top performing students would get these. But then there are quite a few scholarships to support current students also. So in case if a student is performing extremely well while they are at the university, they can look at scholarships for current students, as well.
Right. Great. Thank you so much, Savi, for asking, giving so many, such detailed answers. Actually, I think this is something we were looking at, and I think most students would love to, apply to Durham after watching this video, because I've been taking UK webinars a lot, and Durham is one university which always I get a question on, and I think especially the MBA program, because I think the GMAT is not required for MBA in Durham. So I think that makes, and it's a world 34th ranked MBA. So I think it makes a lot of sense for most students, because I think a lot of students are scared to take the GMAT exam.
Did you know that Durham MBA is one of the few top MBA programs in the world that will not require you to take the GMAT exam? The bonus, it is one of the few B schools in the world with Triple Crown accreditation from EQUIS, AACSB International, and the Association of the MBAs. MBA applications can be tricky, but we are here to help. Here are a few mistakes you may make in your MBA application. Watch this video before you start applying.